Hey, good afternoon. From the KUOW newsroom, this is Seattle Now, and a friendly reminder, it is special election day. Ballots are due tonight at 8 p.m. I'm Paige Browning with a roundup of today's top stories, including a new AI corridor shaping up in Bellevue. It's Tuesday, February 10th. It's all Seahawks talk in Seattle again today on the eve of what should be an enormous parade tomorrow morning. Seahawks quarterback Sam Darnold and Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker are pretty prepped for the event after a quick visit to Disneyland after the game. Yep, that's the crowds at Disney parading and chanting for the Hawks Monday afternoon. But no one does it like Seattle, right? With up to 1 million people expected at tomorrow's Seahawks victory parade, Seattle police are pulling in every available officer to help secure the 2-mile stretch of 4th Avenue downtown between Lumen Field and Seattle Center. Their safety plan calls for fencing along 4th Avenue to keep folks on the sidewalks. Porta potties will be set up, and the fire department and other local law enforcement agencies are also being called in to assist. If you plan on going, public transit is highly encouraged, because the predicted crowd numbers from Mayor Katie Wilson's office are between 750,000 and 1 million people. Hawks head coach Mike McDonald was on Jimmy Kimmel Live last night and says he can't wait.
I mean, here I am. We're going to have a parade on Wednesday. I'm holding the Lombardi yesterday, just partying with all my friends and our team, and no, it hasn't sunk in.
Transit agencies are going to be adding more runs tomorrow to help with the anticipated gridlock. King County Metro will expand bus service between 5 a.m. and 6 p.m. tomorrow. Sound Transit has added 4 morning Sounder trains, and the Light Rail 1 line will run trains every 6 minutes from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you work on 4th Avenue, I don't think you're going to get much done in the office. If you can make it to the office tomorrow, many businesses will actually just be closed. I know our union office is going to be for the day, and some employers at Seattle Center are telling staff to work remote. It's going to be a crowd. The parade starts at 11 near Lumen Field and will travel north along 4th Avenue until it reaches Seattle Center. In business news, which this week is primarily AI news, Bellevue, Washington's becoming an artificial intelligence hub. OpenAI and xAI just inked new leases for offices on the east side. Monica Nicholsberg has more today.
The San Francisco company behind ChatGPT is opening a second home in Bellevue. OpenAI plans to lease 10 new floors of office space in Bellevue's City Center Plaza, according to GeekWire. And it's not the only AI company planting a flag on the east side. Elon Musk's xAI is planning to set up camp in the Lincoln Square South building. xAI's plans show up in permit logs filed with the city of Bellevue. Neither company responded to questions about their new outposts. The move brings both AI companies closer to key cloud partners. Microsoft and Amazon provide much of the cloud infrastructure that powers the AI boom. Monica Nicholsberg, KUOW News.
Some news from Lower Queen Anne. Seattle's Pacific Science Center is selling part of its property to the owners of the Space Needle. The sale's being billed as a new strategic partnership between PacSci and the Seattle Center, with the organizations offering joint ticketing options. The Seattle Times reports that the Boeing IMAX Theater and the Carnivale Pavilion are among the properties being sold. Moviegoers, we can exhale. The Space Needle CEO told The Times they plan to renovate and then keep operating the theater. It's not clear how this impacts PacSci staff. Also in the business beat today, layoffs just hit us hard. A new report finds Washington had the 3rd most layoffs of any state in January, behind only Georgia and Michigan. Washington employers cut nearly 20,000 jobs last month, according to the outplacement company Challenger Gray and Christmas. Amazon sits at the top of the list with about 2,200 layoffs in Washington. Employers say the top reasons include economic conditions, tariffs, and AI. Turnout is 22% so far in today's special election in King County. Ballots are due by 8 p.m. in drop boxes. Election officials are recommending not to use the mail at this point because recent changes to the U.S. Postal Service may delay a ballot's postmark. Up for voters to decide are whether to renew educational program funding for schools in Bellevue, Issaquah, Federal Way, Shoreline, the Lake Washington School District, and many more districts countywide. In City Hall, the city of Seattle is a step closer to prohibiting information sharing with immigration enforcement agencies. A city council committee voted today to advance a bill by Councilmember Maritza Rivera to limit cooperation with ICE.
The brutal, dehumanizing, and I believe to be unconstitutional behavior by ICE officials in our city and in other cities is just simply unacceptable. Whatever actions we can take, we must take.
Under Rivera's bill, city employees could not share non-public information about any person with civil immigration enforcement agencies. That would include withholding a person's citizenship status. Employees could only turn over a person's info if that person consents or it's required by a judge. The bill goes next to the full council February 17th. In Olympia, the so-called millionaire's tax proposal has cleared a hurdle in the legislature. Senate Bill 6346 passed out of committee yesterday. A full Senate vote could come next week. The plan calls for imposing a nearly 10% tax on income worth more than $1 million. The amended version that passed out of committee increases the proposed tax break for smaller businesses. A King County Council committee had an official briefing today on 911. A new auditor's report examines the county's 911 call system. Ruby DeLuna is here to explain.
King County's 911 center receives hundreds of thousands of emergency calls each year. They're handled by the county's 911 Communications Center under the Sheriff's Office. The audit covers the center's operations over the years, how calls involving behavioral health crises are handled, and how vulnerable callers are supported. Increasingly, more calls that come through involve behavioral health issues. As a result, the county has added mental health professionals and other non-traditional responders. The report also examines the center's staffing, scheduling, and supervision. Ruby DeLuna, KUOW News.
Here's today's Olympics update. It was a rivalry match on the ice today between the USA and Canada in the Olympics. Final score for the women's hockey game, 5-0, U.S. over Canada. The women's teams, which both include Seattle Torrent players, had a preliminary Olympics match. In skiing, Olympic gold medalist and Western Washington University alum Breezy Johnson continues to impress. She posted the fastest time in this morning's downhill segment of the team combined race. But she and fellow skier Michaela Schifrin lost some ground in the slalom leg of the race and finished fourth. Coming up, tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, Kirkland's Cooper McLeod races in the 1,000-meter speed skate. And tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, USA men's curling has its opening session with 2 Washington-trained athletes. Check out our interviews with Cooper and curlers Ben and Luke in our show notes today. In food news tonight, the city of Everett is getting tough on unlicensed food carts. This week, the city council will vote on a proposal that would make it a misdemeanor to operate a food cart without a permit. Ruby DeLuna has our story.
Small businesses who obtain permits and pass health inspections have complained about burgeoning food carts that are operating without a license. They say even when health officials shut those down, they often pop up later in a different location. Everett's ordinance would allow the police to arrest operators and fine them up to $1,000. The concern over unlicensed food carts centers on food safety. Health officials have noted food handling issues on site. Snohomish County reported that in 2022, there were 16 complaints of unlicensed food carts. Last year, it received 203 complaints. Ruby DeLuna, KUOW News.
Hey, if you're out there in the parade tomorrow, look out for one another. And maybe keep an eye on public art. The Seattle Parks Foundation is asking for $12 donations from the public after the Pioneer Square pergola was damaged by Seahawks fans after the Super Bowl win Sunday night. Seattle police are also asking folks not to climb on things during tomorrow's parade and just to stay safe. Next time on Seattle Now, heartbreak on the mountains this February. Winter is not coming. It's sunny and warm in February. We'll have a meteorologist from the National Weather Service talk about what that means for our state. That's all for today from the KUOW Newsroom in Seattle. Our producer is Vaughn Jones, and I'm Paige Browning. Seattle Now and KUOW are members of the NPR network. See you tomorrow.